y'all can't control me. Y'all don't understand that. I'm turned all the way. I believe in me. Just believe in you. Let me do me. You like it? Cool. You don't? Fast forward.
Welcome back to the THETRILLPILL podcast. I don't know what number this is, probably number 96. I think I'm gonna stop numbering my shit. I think I've been listening to too much Joe Budden and shit, number my shit. But it's always good to have a number to know, like I know, to kind of know exactly where I'm at, just for benchmark type shit. But just so I can know like how much work I still, I've kept all my show notes from all of my podcasts I ever did. Even the interviews I've done for other people, I always have the show notes. They kind of help guide me throughout the show and make sure the shit flows. And every time I'm on a screen or on a panel or on or just recording in general, anything, I always make sure I have my show notes. Especially if it's something serious. I want to take everything I'm doing serious. So when I do get to where I'm going, I'm already being stride, baby. You know what I'm saying? Me. So welcome back, though. You know what I'm saying? Please like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And please like and follow if you're listening to this on audience. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see here, for those who are on YouTube, I'm talk about Illinois schools must now allow 5 mental health days a year for students. A man died after mental health service neglect. Georgia pastor and wife arrested for holding 8 mentally ill, physically ill people locked in the basement against their will. A mother from Oregon sues Meta and Snap over teens' mental health. The golfer, Mariah Stackhouse, how she took control of her mental health. And a really dope story I found about some guys out of Little Rock, Arkansas, man. Shout out to Arkansas, man. Shout out to Little Rock, man. Those are guys who they have an organization striving to shatter mental health stigma among black men. And they earned them an award also. They got an award for it. But first, start with this first story. Put this right here. Also, like I said, make sure you pay good attention to everything at the bottom of the screen while you're hearing me go through this, while I'm going through this. Very dope people. I decided, just to give them, try to help out. Shit. Any way I can, You never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. Let me see. Let me go back over here. So, I reported on this, I want to say a few months ago. I want to say maybe one of my first few videos when I came, when I started getting more I think it might have been a live stream, actually, when I think about the potential of it. Now that it's mid-January, um, everything went through for students that are allowed to take 5 mental health days a year in this great state of Illinois. All right. So the days will have to be designated as mental health days when the parent or student calls in the absence. Um, a new law went into effect at the beginning of 2022 that would allow students in Illinois to take up to 5 mental days each year. They are listed as excused absences. They don't need a doctor's note, but they will have to be designated as mental health days when parents or students call in. The days, um, the days can be taken at one time or spread throughout the year, as students should be able to make up work during that time. But students setting new rules are causing problems at schools because not everyone knows that they're entitled to days off. All right, so Araya Uday, a member of the Illinois State Board of Education Student Advisory Committee, she recently spoke about the challenges of students not facing or not knowing about the new rule. So basically, the new rule went through, but the information about it going through didn't really reach all throughout the states into some neighborhoods. I would leave that up to your imagination of which neighborhoods they didn't get into. And that faces there's a problem. She also said that the most important step is to make sure the students know what resources are available to them because they can't use it. They don't even know about it. So the districts though they said they're having a tough time informing students about the new policy because of the pandemic and other challenges schools are facing, especially how to support students who are taking days off for mental health. And after the second day, the school has the right to call the family or the student and just ask what supports they might need or concerns they may have so we can help them out. Jennifer Gill, she's the superintendent of District of 186. Other schools have similar policies. They track why and when their students are absent, or they qualify as chronic excused, not excused. One of the main concerns in the weeks before the law went into effect was whether students will use the days as intended. So hopefully the information spreads throughout the state, and hopefully that concept of children or students having the mental health days will spread throughout the country, throughout all the districts in all states, because it is very important. These children they went through a lot too. A big chunk of their social makeup has been disrupted, so they're kind of pushed more into social media, which is another problem that I get into. Actually, I get into it now because it makes more sense to get into it now. It kind of segues right into it. But before I get to that, the CDC said that mental health emergency department, the visits increased 24% for kids aged 5 to 11 in 2020 compared to 2019. For kids aged 12 to 17, the increase for the same period was 31%. And they also had a poll here, So the link to, of course, to everything that I'm going to talk about today will be up in the description box, man, because some we should know. I got people that live in Illinois, some family, some friends. Shout out to them, and they should know about this if they don't know. And then on the other hand, right, like I said, I used to be I was damn near everything: teacher assistant. I just helped out a lot around the school. I watched my mother, go through schools and help out. I come from a family full of teachers and people who are just educators, inside the school. So just knowing what teachers already have to deal with Not add a pandemic on top of that, it's different. One of these days, I will have a few of my friends who are still teaching um, come in and talk about that. Something I can set up. I think that's very interesting. If you know me, man, I always talk about kids. I always talk about my kids, just kids in general, because I have love for the kids, man. I think that, like when I was a kid, I loved school so much. You know what I'm saying? I was school nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? I just love school. Um, and school is kind of, well, I put it like this: without getting into all the politics of the arithmetic and what's being taught, man, I think school is great. It gives you a chance to really figure out who you are, learn about people, learn lessons, life lessons that can carry you on. Um, Shit, throughout your life, man. You know, a lot of the things I learned was in school with friends, whether they good, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Um, Shit, I learned that shit in school. So I think it's important for these children to, you know, have these days, man, because we all know how school can be. Like I said, now you put that mixed with a pandemic, and this shit is hectic. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. This segues right into my next topic, which is a mother from Oregon. She is suing Meta um, and Snapchat. You don't know who Meta? Meta is the new name. Basically, it's basically Facebook. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Basically, Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot. Mark Zuckerberg and whatnot. But this mom is suing Meta um, because of her teen's mental health. Now, you might remember a few months ago about a whistleblower. And she dropping some bombs that she worked for Facebook, and she worked for a few other social media companies, and she dropped a bomb on and said, "Hey, they're targeting your children. They're targeting young teenage girls in particular." So this mother from Oregon, they do have a video here. I'm going to read a tad bit and then go to the video. In March 2020, in the days leading up to Oregon's first stay-at-home order in the pandemic, Brittany Dolphin's daughter turned 14. She was in volleyball, she was in track, she was in basketball, she did drama. I mean, she was very outgoing. Dolphin said her birthday came around and she was really all she was really wanting was a cell phone, and I was really hesitant about it. But then I kind of broke down because she lost all connections with everybody through school, and that's how a lot of her friends interacted through cell phones. Shortly after that, life as Dolphin and her family knew it was turned upside down. Her daughter developed an addiction to social media, specifically Instagram and Snapchat. The obsession, Dolphin said, was and still is incredibly destructive. It happened very fast. Anytime I tried to take her phone, she would get very upset, violent, and verbal with me and her sisters. She would smash the phone so that I couldn't review the content. Um, she also said that we were in for a long, difficult fight. Dolphin, who she lives in Ashland, found the Seattle-based law firm Social Media Victims Law Center, and with the help of attorney Matthew Bergman, filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court in Oregon against Snapchat and Meta on Instagram on behalf of her teen daughter, claiming the social media companies are responsible for causing and contributing to the mental health crisis of her child and other children in the United States. The lawsuit was filed on January 20. It alleges that Meta has designed its products to be addictive and harmful to its users' mental health, and alleges Snapchat and Meta on Instagram is rife with sexual exploitative content and acts because of the social media platforms refuse to identify an age, verify identity and age for new users. Man, go ahead and play this video real quick. Get it popping.
Claiming their practices got her daughter addicted to social media with devastating effects. Jenny Young's been digging deeper into this lawsuit, and she spoke with that mother tonight.
In March of 2020, in the days leading up to Oregon's first stay-home order, Brittany Dolphin's daughter turned 14. While the state was essentially shut down, Dolphin says the outgoing teen was isolated from friends. So she bought her a smartphone.
She lost all connections with everybody through school, and that's how a lot of her friends interact, is through cell phones.
Shortly after that purchase, life as Doffing and her family knew it was turned upside down.
It happened very, very fast.
She says her daughter developed an addiction to social media, specifically Instagram and Snapchat. Doffing says the obsession was and still is incredibly destructive.
She will be on it all the time. She will run away to go to somebody else's house to get on Snapchat, to get on Instagram. She'll ask random strangers. She's went up and got their phone and asked them if she could use their phone to log into her Snapchat account.
Doffing found Seattle-based law firm Social Media Victims Law Center, and with the help of attorney Matthew Bergman, filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court in Oregon against Instagram owner Meta Platforms, formerly known as Facebook, and Snap Incorporated, owners of Snapchat. The suit is seeking relief, including for pain and suffering, medical care expenses, and punitive damages.
I mean, we are in for a long, difficult fight. And the prospect of compensation is very long and far away, and is not what's motivating us to go forward.
The 31-page complaint says the teen has been hospitalized twice for psychiatric episodes triggered by Doffing's attempt to take away or restrict the use of Instagram and Snapchat. It claims the companies generate profit based on the amount of time a user spends on the app, and compares the design to a slot machine marketed towards teenagers, saying its algorithms are psychologically manipulative.
Kids lack the emotional maturity and the neurologic maturity to respond appropriately to these kinds of stimuli.
You might remember last fall when a former Facebook insider turned whistleblower testified before Congress, saying the company's practices are harmful to children.
The choices being made inside of Facebook are disastrous for our children, for our public safety.
Jenny Young, Point 6 News.
Velvety feel.
Yes, sir. So, if you have, okay, I put it like this, man. If you have children with a phone, make sure you monitor what they're doing at all times, because like this article reads, like this mother is saying, the fact that they're missing out on the personal, back and forth with each other, they'll turn to the internet and these apps that connect with friends. So I've taken it upon myself, to kind of have, my daughter's 12. She has a phone now, and like this mother right here, I was hesitant to get her a phone also, because I'm like, man, you don't really need this shit, but it's kind of like you kind of have to bend to it, because it's like you don't want them to be socially awkward in a sense, but it's kind of a double-edged sword. You have to make sure that they understand that there is a world outside of their phone, because these companies don't really give a fuck about what they're doing. All right, like the whistleblower lady said, I can't remember her name, but it's just a lot of shit that goes on social media that is just unfiltered. They don't have to make you verify your age, and even if they did, let's keep it real, man. A lot of these kids be lying about that shit, but that puts them in danger. Strangers, weirdos. There are a lot of pedophiles and people who have committed child crimes, who are able to get online and mask themselves as different people, to still get their weird, sick shit off on these children. So I advise you to monitor everything. And it's a lot, but it's necessary. It's something that we have to do. And like the lawyer Matthew Bergman said, the kids lack emotional maturity and the neurological maturity to respond appropriately to these kinds of stimuli. Excuse me. I have dad moments at my spot. I cut the fucking internet off. Whenever my children are with me, at a certain time, just so we can have time to interact. Do what I'm saying? Just kind of you have to keep them in reality. much as you can. Although, you have to meet them where they're at. You kind of got to say, hey, man, put that phone down. If we're out eating, we leaving phones in the car. We cutting them off. We're at the crib. You know what I'm saying? I need, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of your time. And even then, create, activities to do with each other. So they're going to be so attached to that phone. And then, these kids are growing up faster than ever because they have the whole world in the palm of their hands. So they're seeing a lot more, and it kind of puts parents, it puts parents in a race to raise their children in a sense. I was reading another article. I can't remember what it was. I have to find it. It's in my notes somewhere where it was talking about that specific problem was with you better try to get it ahead, but you can with your children. If you're going to allow them to have phones, although you don't want to deprive them of a social life, you still have to be involved. You still have to make sure that everything is everything, much as you can. Because you don't want the internet to be raising the children, man. This shit has no filter. It doesn't give a fuck. All it cares about is your viewing times, how much how much time that the child is consuming the content that's on these social media sites, and what content are they consuming. It's leading to a lot of mental health problems, not only in adults. I mean, you see all the wild shit that these adults are doing, and those adults are being watched by their children. So the children see their adults doing this wild, crazy shit all over the internet, and they're following right in their footsteps, and it's very dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It's very dangerous. So check in on that, man. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you watch the bottom, man. The bottom had a lot of dope people in there. Make sure you follow some of those pages, man, because next, dope people, man. Next, this man, Bedford. This man died after mental service neglect. Now, certain stories like this, it's irritating because, if you consume some of my content, man, you already know what I'm talking about. You already know what I'm about. I'm all about this mental health shit because it's, in my opinion, it's imperative that we get the care and the need of this. But I'm going to go right into the story real quick. Not a long one. Try to get this move on a little bit faster. Let's go to this one right here. All right, so the death of a vulnerable teenager with autism and ADHD was contributed by the neglect on the part of the mental health services. As the coroner said. Luke Wilden, 18 years old, was found dead at his home in Bedford on May 22nd, 2020. A postmortem examination found the evidence of cocaine and heroin use. Senior coroner for the Bedfordshire, Whiting, Emma Whiting, said that Mr. Wilder's mental health declined after being moved from a supported accommodation to the independent living after he turned 18. He became subject to cocooning and alcohol or drug use. I don't know what the heck cocooning is. Ms. Whiting said in a prevention of future deaths report. Okay, for the tell us. Cocooning is a practice in which the vulnerable person's home is taken over, often as a base or for taking or dealing drugs, or for sex work. So basically a trap house, what it sounds like. A practice where a vulnerable person's home is taken over. Yeah, basically they turn this boy's home into a trap house, basically. There was a failure to transition him effectively from child and adolescent to adult mental health services, and there was no assessment of his needs to enable provision of an appropriate adult social care package, including suitable accommodation, the report said. And despite several psychiatric admissions and growing concerns about Mr. Wilder's ability to keep himself safe while living independently, there was a continued failure by mental health services to carry out a needs assessment. Let's see, inappropriate support. 3 days before his death, Mr. Wyden was admitted to he was admitted as an inpatient to psychiatric services, being found unconscious in London following an overdose of the drug Spice. Shit, still I ain't know Spice was still out. Shit. Whitey said, but the next day he was discharged back into his Bedford flat. It immediately met up with the known drug user whom had been cocooning him previously. Mrs. Whiting said that his accommodations were unsuitable and he received the inappropriate support which left him at risk of harmful activity. And although there was no determination of civil liability, this previously identified failure, as well as the failure to detain him from his final inpatient admission, amounted to his death, being contributed to by neglect on the part of mental health services. Mrs. Whiting addressed her report to the chief executive of the East London NHS Foundation Trust, which runs the services in that area, and NHS England and NHS Improvement. The teams have until March 13th to respond to the report, and So, that's sad, man. You know, basically, he was, and you know, it's weird, right? I feel like this, man. It's weird that somebody with autism and ADHD was allowed to live by themselves. That's the first red flag. You know, why? I don't know. That's where the failure lies. And because of that, he was able to be taken advantage of and basically turn his living space into a drug house. That turned it into a trap house in a sense. Or over there in Europe, they call it a cocooning, which is a new word that I'm going to use. Put that shit in my vocabulary. You did cocooning. So they were cocooning this man's spot, his house, and shit, it ended down a path to destruction. And it's sad, man. So we want to send our prayers to Luke Wilder and his family, and hopefully that shit gets back right, because that's not conducive to creating a better society that knows how to take care of mental health. If that makes any sense, what I just said. The whole thing about mental health is being able to not only inform people, but to kind of make it the norm. You know, a lot of these things are still fresh on the minds of people. A lot of people don't really know what mental health really is. A lot of people don't really understand what mental illness is. I have a future video of how they used to treat mentally ill patients back then. Threw them in insane asylums, and they were subject to a lot of just fucked up treatment, and they were treated like, you know, the shit was barbaric, very barbaric. So hopefully that gets back right, and you know, hopefully this, you know, the talks can be more normal, they can be more frequent. People can be able to gain an understanding of what this really means and how important it is for everybody to really to understand what this is. That's basically what mental health, being an advocate for it, that's the number one thing, is getting people to understand. A lot of folks don't understand. There's terms, there's a certain language, you know, a certain verbs that you have to use. There are certain things that you have to be aware of, and for a lot of our lives, this information didn't really exist. Well, I take that back. It existed, but it wasn't mainstream. You know, people just kind of marked it off like, oh, I'm crazy. Oh, he's, you know what I'm saying? And they kind of like looked over, you know. So A lot of people have gotten hurt because of that. There are a lot of our brothers who are locked up because of that and are still not receiving the treatment that they need to be a citizen, and contribute to this country, man. Because everybody can contribute to this country or this world. You just have to be able to understand everybody. You know what I'm saying? This shit is wild. I can go on and on and on and keep rambling about it, but I choose not to because I'm trying to trying to shorten these episodes up some. I don't want to keep beating people over the head with it, but I do want to be able to get these stories out because they are very interesting. And this one right here, very interesting too. Some sick shit. Some sick shit, man. I know you've probably seen this notification on your phones, over the internet or whatnot, but a Georgia pastor and his wife were arrested for holding 8 people locked in their basement. The people put it like this. Griffin Police Department said that Curtis Keith Bankston and Sophia Sim Bankston were running an unlicensed group home in their house under the disguise of a church program named One Step of Faith, Second Chance. Per the One Step of Faith Ministries website, Pastor Bankston dedicated to giving back to the community by feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, and clothing the naked. His wife's mission is to help get homeless off the street and back to the workforce. Maybe they had good intentions. It's crazy, right? Because the people were mentally and physically ill, so they couldn't really fend for themselves. And it's tough because, as we've seen these past few weeks, man, these past few years, man, when people abuse their power, it's never pretty. You know what I'm saying? It's never pretty when people abuse their power, man. Let's go to this motherfucking website real quick, man. Where is this shit at? There it is. So here's the website, all right? Now, when you see this shit just looks off, right? This first picture just looks off. First of all, it looks fake as fuck. This guy right here, fucking loser. It's just something about the look of things that you just kind of, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, but here are the two. Here's the join us in moving towards God's kingdom, nourishing our faith. Is, they are incorporated in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the most notable family-oriented churches in the city that works to bring people closer to one another in love and unity. Their mission is to bring others to Christ. You realize that shit for yourself. And they got the Bible scriptures and shit, man. Look at these motherfuckers right here, though. They just look off, man. In my opinion, the mug shots look off. It's kind of sick. It's very cult-like. I'm very big in the cult. We'll have a cult page coming soon, to be honest, about cults and shit like that. But anyway, hold on. I'm trying to slideshow shit. Hold up. They're Mr. Bankston and his wife, the culprits, all his children. Yeah, man. Hoe ass nigga, dog. What you call a hoe ass nigga, man? I'm sorry. That's one of the reasons why people don't really trust churches as a whole, because of silly, goofy, sick shit like this, right? You have people who are in need. She on her nigga. She on her nigga stomach like he got a baby in that bed. I got a baby in that bed. Oh, ass nigga. But it's sick, man. It's punk ass shit right here, man. You know what I'm saying? That shit is sick, man. I ain't gonna spend too much time on this shit, but all this shit just looks sick, man. You know what I'm saying? Using religion to disguise fuck shit. And then as I got deeper into it, also went to Reddit. And believe it or not, there are people that are trying to hold on. They're trying to excuse this shit. They're trying to, basically what I call it, man. They rationalizing bullshit. There's no way you can rationalize these people out here doing this whole ass shit, man. So fuck them. Fuck everything they got going. You know what I'm saying? Because I hope they get locked up forever for this shit. I ain't even fun. You know what I'm saying? It sucks because you got people who are looking for salvation, looking for faith, and hoping to be guided in the right direction. A lot of these people are very vulnerable because they feel like after they make a few mistakes in life, that they need to go and get prayed for and get services. And some people are really in need. Churches have food banks and help ministries and whatnot. Excuse me. Shout out to all churches that use their they. How can I put this? Shout out to the people who lead the correct way, who are not trying to get over on people, who are not trying to manipulate people, who are actually there to serve. You know what I'm saying? To actually serve the word. Actually help people on their way to finding out, their truths or whatever you want to call them. It's unfortunate that you have a lot of people who manipulate religion and power and authority. It fucking sucks. And that shit it's just not cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Get them whole ass niggas out the motherfucking screen. That shit ain't even cute. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't cute. That shit ain't fly. That shit is sick, man. I hope they get their ass beat. You know what I'm saying? I hope they go to jail and get their ass beat. You did. You know what I'm saying? For real, man. Because there's no excuse for that, man. There's no excuse for that, man. Not at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. Let's see this real quick. Let's play real quick, man. This little ad right here. Hopefully, man, right now, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you listen to this on YouTube, make sure you also follow and subscribe to be on all platforms and on Audience. This will be exclusively on Audience. So right now, let's see. Let's cue it up real quick. Mariah Stackhouse, if you didn't know, very talented young lady. She's in the LPGA kicking plenty ass. So this is how she tells the story how she took control of her mental health, following an example of other black women in sports who normalized the need to prioritize mental well-being. The LPGA golfer reframed her mindset and ultimately saw a breakthrough in her game. I have a nice little video right here that we will get right into without further ado.
I was first introduced to the game of golf around the age of 2 by my dad. I used to throw tantrums whenever he would leave the house without me, cut down a set of clubs for me, and would let me just go to the range with him, whack around and have fun, and that's how it all got started. I think having started golf at such a young age, I think what really drew me to the game was just spending quality time with my dad and brother. And I think from there, when I was 6, my dad put me in a couple of local junior tournaments, and I started making some friends that would play golf as well. And I just never really let it go. And I think that's really where my passion grew. Growing up, I played a lot of local tours, and that's how I really developed my game. And then around sophomore year of high school, I started really considering where I wanted to go to college. And funnily enough, I never really, envisioned going very far from home. So I always had a school here in the Southeast that I knew I wanted to attend. And my parents actually had to force me to go out and visit Stanford and some of the West Coast schools. Once I stepped foot on campus, it took 24 hours for me to do a complete 180 and just fall in love with everything. It didn't hurt that it was April here and we were having like our last cold snap of the year. And I went out there and it was sunny and warm. And I was like, yeah, I could do this year-round golf thing. And that's how I ended up at Stanford. And I really loved my team, loved my coach, had an incredible experience. We were fortunate enough to win a national championship in my time there, which was definitely the highlight of my college career. But all around, it was an incredibly challenging environment, both academically and athletically. And I think it really pushed me to higher levels, and I'm grateful for the experience.
Killing shit. Killing shit. Let's go.
Graduated college in 2016 and immediately began my journey to
turn up shit. You gotta turn up.
Tour.
Yeah,
I got an exemption into an LPGA event that summer.
You knew it was coming. Turn up music. Come on now.
Which is the mini tour.
We gotta put that flavor in that sauce on.
Prepared for Q School, which took place that fall, and I went through all 3 stages of Q School. I made it to the final and finished high enough to earn my LPGA Tour card for the following season. And once I was able to gain entry later the spring of 2017 into an LPGA event, I improved my status enough to then be able to have status for the rest of the season. And it's just kind of been written from there. I think in the sport of women's golf, there haven't been a lot of Black players in the sport's professional history. I think as of now, 8 players have had status on the LPGA Tour. And so I think you're definitely seeing the number of Black women playing golf growing. And instead of it being every now and then, I think right now we have a lot of players simultaneously looking to play on the LPGA Tour. So there's definitely growing numbers. I love the opportunity to, represent, I think, the growing number of Black women playing golf. And I think it's an honor right now to be on the LPGA and taking it on full steam ahead. I look forward to continuing to have the opportunity to inspire other young golfers. And, the goal would be one day to, never even need to comment again on how many players, how many Black women are on the LPGA Tour. I hope to see that number rise. My name is Mariah Stackhouse. I am disciplined, tenacious, kind, and I'm here to elevate the game of women's golf.
And she be cracking shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? She be cracking shit. No motherfucking lie, man. Mariah Stackhouse. Remember her name. So I will have this link in the bottom in my description box. My bad. Let me put this shit down real quick. Like she said, there are not a lot of people who look like her playing golf, period. Let alone women. Shout out to her father. You know how important fatherhood is, in families, especially in Black families. She killing shit. Like she was cracking shit. Like I don't even fucking lie, man. But the fact that she was able to overcome so many obstacles. Eventually there will be a movie about this shit, of course, down the road. She's still, very much in the midst of it. But, you hear about Naomi Osaka, and she skipped, the French Open and withdrew to prioritize her mental health, and Simone Biles and people like that. And she's pretty much following in those footsteps. And me personally, excuse me, I think it's great that there is an opportunity for these young Black women to not only be pioneers of their sport and kick ass in their sport, because all of them kick ass in their sport, but to also be able to handle the rough points in that sport. You got to know when you're playing sports like tennis or gymnastics or golf, those are not Black dominated sports, let alone being a woman and competing at a high level, you already know she had to deal with some bullshit, and she hasn't really gotten into what she had to deal with. I'm pretty sure she will eventually, but you already know she had to deal with a lot of the bullshit. People thinking that she can't do it because she's black and it's golf and it's this which is a lot of bullshit. But shout out to Mariah Stackhouse. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she's related to Jerry in any kind of way, but shout out to her, man. I think she's dope, man. I'm not gonna sit here and read this whole article. Also, Sha'Carri Richardson, the pioneer, battling pressure, anxiety, self-doubt, depression, or any other mental health issues can easily derail an athlete's career if left unchecked. And by not taking necessary steps to deal with her own challenges earlier last season, she seemed to be headed down that path. She also said that it's really easy to let the positivity distract you from what you're really struggling with. She says, you keep telling yourself, I've got time, this will pass, but it didn't. The 2021 LPGA Tour season proved to be one of her toughest. She played 16 events and was cut from 10, finished the season ranked 150th in the race to the CME Globe. It was her worst showing as a pro, and by the close of the season, her LPGA Tour card was on the line. And the only way she had to protect her status for the upcoming 2022 season was to finish in the top 45 of the LPGA Q Series, man. And that put her, in a tough spot mentally. It's something that she loved to do. This was her pride. And safe to say, she got that thing going. She went out there and she cracked that shit. I watched a few of her highlights on YouTube. Go check her out, man. Mariah Stackhouse. Man. Some dope shit. And last, we get to the story right here, man. Before I close out this episode, shout out to Little Rock, Arkansas. All right. Shout out to Little Rock, Arkansas, man. Man, there's some fellas out there who are really putting in the groundwork. Really, really putting in the groundwork of what it takes to fight and crack and kill the stigma of mental health. Now, if you're growing up in, any black neighborhood, any black community, man, you already know what the barbershops, mean to us as black men, right? And these guys, man, out of Little Rock, Arkansas, it's a program called the Confess Project, where licensed barbers are trained to be mental health champions for black men who are less likely to see a therapist, man. This is what I mean, right? Barbershop talk. It's been 3 movies, Ice Cube, called Barbershop, because of just the importance of what it means in a community for black men to have somewhere to go, some type of escape from the world, and also get faded up. You know what I'm saying? Get faded up, lined up, look fresh, but also, there's a lot of talking that's involved in the barbershop. And many clients say barbershops are a safe place for black men, and it's the barber chair. The clients get a fresh look, design, and mental healing. All right. So in a lot of places, even maybe the work or sometimes even at home, I might feel uncomfortable to express myself in a certain way, barbershop client Lee Willingham said. So when I come to the barbershop, I can relax and pretty much talk about anything. Power 92 Jams radio personality Houston Stackhouse speaks very openly and candidly about mental health. And he too finds support through his barber, who was trained by the Confess Project. I know personally, I've been fighting out of depression and anxiety for about 15 years. Stackhouse said, I'm able to come in here and relax and just let everything go. So that's Houston Stackhouse right there, Power 92 Jams in Little Rock, Arkansas. So the organization founder and Little Rock, Arkansas native Lorenzo Lewis struggled with his own mental health issues for years. It just started with my story, my own depression. It's a national movement, Lewis explained. It's a movement that began in 2016 that now consists of more than 1,000 barbers in 15 states who are trained how to listen and detect problems and guide clients to professional help if needed. In each city, the Confess Project has a partnership with mental health treatment centers where men are encouraged to go if they are having problems that need serious attention. Our barbers are pure intervention specialists, I like to call them, Lewis said. They are advocates on the front lines, and they really support someone through conversation, and that can really lead to a true impact and true quality of life change. This guy right here is Lorenzo Lewis. Mental health advocates said it's tough enough getting black men to the therapist. According to the Office of Minority Health for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, suicide was the second leading cause of death for African Americans between 15 and 24 in 2019. And a year earlier, the rate of suicide for black men was 4 times higher than it was for black women. Taiwan Dickinson has been a barber since 1998. With the help of the Confess Project and other mental health training, he has more than barber tools to provide help and resources. He also is not afraid to ask tough questions. One of the barbershop clients was admitted to a mental health facility after he convinced him to get help. And that was an awesome moment because I felt like he was at a breaking point, Dickinson recalled. I thought he was about to give up on life. Lewis said that the need to show strength can lead to some to have a resistance to mental health treatment. It's connected to shame and guilt, he explained. Black men have so much stoicism to be strong and powerful. Truly, I believe when we break through it and get a understanding, this is about us getting our power and control of our lives. The opening up can lead to a positive effect on an entire family just by spending an hour or so getting shaped up, faded up, parted up, you know what I'm saying, and brushed off. So you want to learn more about the program, go to the Confession Project. Hold on. Not done with this quite yet. Real quick, man. Hold on, let me see. I didn't even have the screen on. So this guy right here is Lorenzo Lewis. He's a part of the Confession Project. Help barbers also become licensed therapists. This guy right here is Power 92 Jazz radio personality, Houston Stackhouse, Little Rock, Arkansas. Shout out to LR, man. Let's see, man. What we got here? Okay, so let me go over here. Let me show y'all the website. I'm gonna show y'all the website. They also won. They won an award. Hold on. I'm gonna show everything right now. Let me slow down a little bit. Yeah, they got excited, man. See, this type of shit right here gets me excited, man, because so many times, and Kevin Gates talked about this on his interview with Big Facts Podcast. Like a lot of times, men suffer in silence because we are so strong, so dedicated, we are hardworking, and we are taught as kids and children and young men to kind of hold everything in, not to show any emotion, not to do this, not to do that, to where it kind of backfires on us. Our women don't really understand it because they don't see a lot of men being able to express themselves like they should. Men do have emotions. Men do have feelings, and as hard and as tough and as witty and gangster as this shit can get, we all still have to have an opportunity to get our shit off, and this is what I mean by meeting people where they're at, meeting people where they are at. So right here is this is the Confess Project. All right, this is America's first mental health barbershop movement. So if you have a barber, check with them, check with the shop, tell them, hey man, it's a little program called the Confess Project, and it's just dope to see it. It's who we are, what we do. The Confess Project has the first and largest organization committed to building a culture of mental health for Black boys, men, and their families. How focus on empowering frontline heroes and sheroes in communities across America. More specifically, we train barbers to be mental health advocates. We got Harvard research, contribute, go ahead and contribute, you know what I'm saying? I contributed, you know what I'm saying? They also made the list of, they're honored to be ranked as the number seven most innovative health company in the country by Fast Company. Number seven in the whole country. You know what I'm saying? You got people right here, testimonials and ambassador. This player right here, Jay Devine, you know what I'm saying? He's an ambassador for Louisville, Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? He's an ambassador for it. This guy right here, Darren Roca, James Dino Smith, and Pine Bluff. Shout out to everybody at Pine Bluff. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to I got people in Pine Bluff. Shout out to them, man. Them boys out there, man, in Pine Bluff and Golden Line. Let me see. Craig Charles, Tennessee. So, how about like this, man? Gonna let this rock real quick. What's a lot of that sound back? What the fuck is that? The fuck is that? So anyway, let me play this video real quick. Mute myself and let this shit rock out, alright?
Didn't have any idea for being a barber that you had a real goal in trying to make sure that Black men, period, could open up in the barbershop. We've been doing it, but we didn't know we were really confessing.
Confess Project is a national organization that's focused on training barbers to become mental health advocates. We see that that's a very promising way of helping men not only become the best that they can be, have a quality of life, and to be able to strive towards their wellness and greatness.
You got to come to them kind. They have enough put downs and beat me downs in this world. Failures that they have and they're facing their own self. When you come to the barbershop, give them that positive feedback, make them feel good, make them look good. You know what I'm saying? Then they start doing good. As layers of hair come off, layers of that exterior macho-ness comes off. We're built to be tough and strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm glad you came through, bro. Oh, yeah.
How's your day going? How's your family going, man? You need to talk about anything. Is anything stressing you out? Like, just being able to connect with them on that type of level, on a deeper level, makes me feel better about myself once my day is over. Walking out the door knowing that I did more than just cut hair. It's deeper than a haircut.
This happens in Chicago, if this happens in Philadelphia, if this happens in New Orleans, and all these barbershops in the inner city, in these areas, it can have a big effect. It could be a domino effect.
To me, that's what we're here to do, man, is to try to help. Just a feel-good thing for me, man. I feel better going home each day knowing that, I possibly didn't help somebody. So,
being a barber in the community, we're pillars of the community. You have every walk of life that's going to walk through the barbershop to get a haircut. It's a judge-free zone, so if somebody comes in here and does have a problem, like, we're not judging you, man, because one of us might be going through the same thing or have been through the same things. We'll make the community and the world a better place, man, one barbershop, one client at a time, man.
This tour and this in partnership with Gillette, Best Men Can Be campaign, will be one to never forget. This campaign will be a chaotic impact across the United States. We're going from coast to coast. We're going to impact men and their families from Los Angeles through Georgia, through New York, Boston. We're going to go all across the U.S. Men can be better men, and that their potential can be unlocked and see the success that they never thought that they could see.
Trail talk, man. You know what I'm saying? Real deal spill. You know what I'm saying? That's Trail spill right there. If you ever know what it sounds like, it sounds like that, man. Look, shout out to the Confess Project. I gotta reach out to them and see what's popping, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't too far from Little Rock. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple people I have to reach out to out there. Try to see if I can try to work something out, try to get them out here one day. Trying to build my platform so I can get people on here. So many people that I want to come out here and they want to come out here, but I keep telling them, man, I gotta build this I got to build this platform up. So in order for to build this platform up, man, y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and follow on Audience. And everywhere you see me, man, type me. If you that don't work, just type me in Google, man. Type the Trill Pill podcast in Google. Type the Trill Pill in Google. You're gonna find out where to see me, man. I'm about to close this thing on now. You know, I got my little shit, little thing get off my chest, man. Little off the dome, little thoughts and whatnot. I'm gonna close this right on that, man. Thank you for listening to Trill Pill podcast. Be right back, y'all. Much love.
Y'all can't control me. Y'all don't understand that. I'm turned all the way. I believe in me. Just believe in you. Let me do me. You like it? Cool. You don't? Fast forward.
The only hopeless thing is when you don't have the knowledge of the darkness. No human being should ever think of suicide. No matter how dark it is. God brought light out of darkness. There's always a light somewhere. But you gotta believe long enough to will the light into existence. Listen, listen, listen.
I always tell my brother, you know, Warren, and my cousin and all my other people, like, why in the fuck would you ride around in a goddamn car drinking and smoking? When you know these people, you know you already got these strikes against you, for one. You're already black. You're already young. You're already in something clean in a motherfucker.
Right.
Or you in something too dirty and tinted, so you're drawing attention to yourself.
Right.
Why in the fuck would a man want to ride around with, you know, a half ounce of cocaine, you know, music up loud, smoking weed in the car, got a cup of drink in the fucking in the cup holder, and you
and
what the
a gun,
fuck?
and a 3-time, 4-time felon
With a gun.
Right, right.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You know, like I say, bro, a lot of pain that come on us, man, is self-inflicted, man.
Of course it is.
And what are the things that blocks us? One is our trauma, our stressors. So black people, we've been running away from therapy and not wanting to acknowledge our pain. And it's like, bro, when we start actually doing that, you can't stop us. You have to acknowledge the things, like, because emotions aren't inherently good or bad. They just are what they are. But the more you suppress them, you mad? No, I ain't mad. Well, it's okay if you are mad. That's a human emotion. You came on this earth to feel. So when I'm mad, I'm mad, bro. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm pissed off. Man, I'm anxious.
Yeah, man. As I close this out, man, you know, I got some things on top of my chest I got to get off, man. You know, I love the fact that I've created a vehicle for opportunity to reach out to different people, you know, of a different demographic with my message, with my heart, with my mind, using my experiences to help others, teach others, guide others, and also a willingness to also learn from others also, you know. And one of the things I thought about as I was driving is expecting me to be and do the things that I expect of others is something that has stopped me from driving myself batshit crazy. But it's also been a really helpful indicator of where I need to step back, you know. So in the past, I've shown an alarming lack of, you know, loyalty to myself, while at the same time continuing to engage with certain people out of what I believe at the same time were my show of loyalty and devotion. And of course, this type of double-edged pledging of allegiance, where you effectively keep throwing yourself under a bus for someone who isn't even on the same proverbial road as you, or who would throw you back under that said bus because they don't acknowledge, respect, or even desire the same loyalty is exactly how I can't, it's how I ended up feeling deeply compromised and rejected. And it would hurt that I could go to these lengths and I still couldn't change them or get their loyalty back, you know? So I'm not alone in having felt this way and not being at fault with what being loyalty or what being loyal actually means, you know? So one thing I have to say is, you know, don't mistake being willing to don't mistake being willing to compromise the true essence of who you are and even your willingness to endanger your emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual well-being for the sake of loyalty and devotion. Loyalty isn't the same as not having boundaries and tuning out of shady behavior and situations. It is loyalty is something that happens over time and with experience, like trust. It needs to be increased on the basis of supporting evidence, not increased to make up for the decrease in your sense of self or the decrease in their contribution of to what should be a mutual relationship. Um, just as meeting breaches of trust with more trust is a recipe for pain, so is giving away loyalty without due diligence. Um, we cannot afford, or better yet, we cannot know what loyalty means if we don't have no affinity to it within us. Because in reality, if we will betray ourselves repeatedly in the name of loyalty, that's not about showing strong support for someone with the core thread of respect and mutuality. That's about codependency, being excessively emotionally reliant on that person and hoping by giving in this way that it will create a tipping point in reciprocation. It's the whole giving out what we want to get back. But see, the trouble in that is we confuse what we're doing with what it actually is. You know, if we're not being loyal and we're um, actively engaging unhealthily, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic to expect that what we will, be sent back is going to be healthy. That would be to ignore the reality of, the situation. Don't get me wrong. It hurts when we've been loyal to someone and they betray us. It hurts when our loyalty is taken for us being a sucker. It hurts when, okay, yes, clearly we have some things that we need to address within ourselves, but our desire to love and to be loved is met with cruelty. It also hurts when we take another person's betrayal and then we judge ourselves for them having done so. It definitely hurts when we've been misguidedly loyal, and instead of learning from this, we decide that we weren't loyal enough. Loyalty is a decision and the choice and actions to continue to be um, conscious ones. As always, with anything to do with people pleasing, it's not about what we do, but why we do it. Being loyal is a great quality. It just needs to be channeled appropriately. So when we're really being honest about why we remain loyal and devoted to someone who shows us that it's not respected, it's not acknowledged, it's not appreciated, the truth is that we are remaining loyal to our dream, our vision, and our hopes and expectations for that person, or even for what we thought could have been and had if only they had reciprocated ours. We're not really being loyal to the actual person. We're um, being loyal to the illusion that someone is being loyal to us. So we continue to put forward our brand of loyalty and devotion, even when that person is disloyal or just fucking not even there, because we believe that what we're doing can and will and should be able to influence that person's feelings and behaviors. It's the whole being and doing certain things with an awareness of what we feel that we deserve, and um, in the recognizing that it's not happening, blaming ourselves or blaming us for not being good enough when we really should be asking ourselves who and what we're being loyal to. And of course, it's going to provoke our sense of entitlement, because realistically speaking, who doesn't expect a little respect and acknowledgement for your support? So you got to dig a little deeper. Um, and what will be revealed once we start to dig deep is the conflict of interest between what we perceive as respect and acknowledgement to look like in what they're willing to do. And we might expect that person to effectively change and step outside their comfort zone in order to make our feelings feel better. So people who need integrity, love, care, trust, respect, and the intrinsic value and authenticity of a mutual relationship don't reward your loyalty with disrespect, all right, or betrayal. They don't. If anything, they defend their values and identity with consistent and authentic actions and words because they value what it was that communicated to you and others that supported was and is a good investment. They're also highly unlikely, to want to be in a situation where you're just just loyal to a fault due to self love, um, because it's not really love. You understand what I'm saying? So we must be careful with who we devote ourselves to, especially if there is an expectation of reciprocation. And when we're around like-minded folk, this is somewhat easier, and it's also the same for mutual relationships. But however, when we're having to clobber the fuck out of them, beat them over the head with wanting to have respect or even have to raise these people from the ground up, it's time to stop. You know, don't row a boat with just one oar. Being loyal is a quality that you should value, both within you and others, but don't mix it up with servitude, being completely subject to someone more powerful and investing in dodgy, activities, shady activities, shife like activities as a means of avoiding dealing with yourself. It runs back to the whole litmus test of giving, helping, and authenticity. If you wouldn't be or do something if you didn't think that you were going to receive the perceived and predicted reward, then step back, re-examine your motives and whether your expectations are realistic. And if you're getting hurt by your loyalty, devotion to someone, it's time to acknowledge that you do rightly expect to be respected and acknowledged, but this is not the situation or the person where that is happening. Did they truly earn your trust and support? If not, then that explains the disparity between you, or better yet, that explains the disparity um, between what you expect and what you're getting. And if they did earn it, was it earned easily or on merit, or was changed? And no, it's not worth it because your integrity doesn't vanish, even if even if what you thought was loyalty has. And to blame it on your worth is to keep up this whole owning other people's behavior and trauma and pretending that you have some type of motherfucking Jedi mind tricking ability. So also, you should ask yourself, was it one sided? Sometimes you can be so busy being loyal and essentially overcompensating for the other person that you don't even realize how little they actually do in your relationship, or until you actually have a need, or until you get actually left ass out and you left hanging. So that being said, man, embrace and channel your ability to be loyal in a positive way, giving your loyalty to people who don't know their arse. You know what I'm saying? They don't know. I put arse, I want to say ass. They don't know their ass from a fucking hole in the ground. Put it like that. Um, is a misappropriation of this quality and the beauty you have within to feel connected with people. ultimately, loyalty starts at home. So, being that it starts at home, don't go giving it. Don't just go giving your loyalty away. All right. Cherish yourself. Cherish your mind. Cherish your heart. Cherish your spirit. Don't go giving it away until you know that you unquestionably have your own back. All right. And, that's marks the end of the Trill Pill. Thank you for listening. Much love, man. Make sure you like, share, subscribe on Facebook. And also make sure you follow me on Audius, AUDIUS. A pretty dope next gen platform where the Trill Pill podcast is exclusively on for the time being, man. My name is Khalil Sneed. What you've been listening to, the Trill Pill podcast. You already know my two things: stay true and heal, and monumental to be monumental. Much love. God bless. I'm out this.